welcome to Neophyte.tv, the technology show for the not-so-geeky. My name is Ben Friedman, and we are very lucky today to be joined by my good friend, Craig Burnett. Craig, thanks for joining us.
Anytime, Ben, anytime.
Now, people out there will notice the background has changed a little from our usual background, and that's because we are at the beautiful Courtyard Marriott in Destin, Florida for a video shoot, but we didn't want to let a week go by where we weren't talking to you guys, and today happened to be a very big day.
That's right. It's the introduction of iPhone 4.
That's right. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to have Craig on the show, other than the fact that he's a good friend and he happened to be here with me, is that, Craig, you are an iPhone skeptic. Wouldn't you agree?
I'm a bit of a skeptic.
No, you're a Mac user. You use Macs.
I love Macs. But I waited to get a smartphone because I was afraid that I was going to be married to my phone all the time, that using the phone for email on the go and website on the go would make me one of those people like the BlackBerry folks who was constantly married to their phone. So I resisted it for a long time.
And so what do you use?
Well, I use the T-Mobile G1, much like your friend Andy Barness does.
Right.
And it's enough of a smartphone for me. I don't really need too much.
Well, because quite frankly, you probably don't want a phone that's too smart because, you don't want to, feel like you're always trying to keep up. See, I don't have those issues myself, so I'm okay with the iPhone. But the big announcement today was iPhone 4, and Steve Jobs took to the stage this morning. And so I thought we'd run down a few of the features that the new iPhone that's coming out on the 24th will have. And you can tell me why you think it's just a load of hooey, and I'll tell you why I kind of like it. Does that work?
Okay, that sounds good. Are we going to mention the fact that Steve had asked everybody to turn off their wireless devices?
That's true. He said there was something like 400 wireless base stations being created by the Macs in the room and such. So he asked everyone to turn off the Wi-Fi.
Probably a little unusual. It's probably the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, with so many hotspots now, the MiFis and Apple Macs can be used as a hotspot if you have a cellular card or something like that. So,
all right. So you are the Apple Kool-Aid drinker.
Yes.
What's the coolest thing about the new iPhone?
Kool-Aid. So let's run down a few of those features.
Okay.
So the first thing is obviously the design. They've gone ahead now and taken the glass front that people liked because it didn't scratch. They've now made glass front, glass back, an aluminum ring around it. That
stainless steel
ring,
right.
Not aluminum. It actually acts as the phone's antenna. So you've got very little now that blocks the signal. Now, as you know, a lot of people had some people had complaints about the iPhone signal, and I'm not sure whether it was the phone itself or the network, but hopefully this will resolve some problems. But it's now 25%, I think it was, thinner than the original iPhone. So it's very small, very thin, very sexy looking.
Well, the thing I like about the external antenna being stainless steel and cut into three places for the pieces, for the GPS, for the cell phone wireless signal itself, and also for
someone obviously did his research
for the Wi-Fi. The thing I like about it is when you hold it in your hand, then you can use your other hand because if it connects to your body,
it's touching your hand
to try to get the signal. Hello, can you? Hello, can you hear me now? Yeah, perfect. Okay.
But no, sexy looking phone.
It is a considerably sexier looking phone than the big black brick thing. And the reason I went with the big black brick G1 from T-Mobile was because I've been a T-Mobile customer since '97. They treat me really well when I call. But I can hold it like this while I'm doing electronics.
The iPhone's gonna slide right onto the floor.
Yeah, but it won't break
straight down,
and it won't scratch because it's that new glass.
Okay, well let's move on. So the second big feature is what Steve calls the Retina display, and his theory is that if you pack more than 300 dots per inch on the display, the human eye just sees that as continuous drawing, continuous surface. So the iPhone now has this incredibly dense 960 by 640, I think, display where the graphics, the pitch of the pixels are really tightly packed on there.
Right, and so it makes the graphics look a lot smoother. You don't have the jaggy edges. To me, I think it's interesting being in the television business for 30 years, where we just spent tens of millions, in some cases billions of dollars, making television much bigger so that it could all be put down to a little
right. Now, if you're watching movies on this thing, it's probably not going to make a huge difference. But if you're reading email or text or books, and I agree with you, quite frankly, that not many people, I don't want to read books on an iPhone.
Right.
But they did come out with the iBook application on there. And he says it's going to make reading books a lot better. But I think the iPad is more the book reader.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, I can barely see phone numbers. I need longer arms. I need an arm extension with the new iPhone. Does it come with that?
No, that's true. Yes, you got to hold it further and further away.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't seen the new display. You haven't seen the new display, but people are saying that it is stunningly clear. The text is clear. The icons are super clear. And if any reading you have to do, whether it's email or website, is just much easier.
Easier on the Retina.
Right, so you've got to like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, of course, the iPhone has had a camera on it since day one, but the new camera now on the front, or excuse me, on the back of the camera is 5 megapixels, step up in resolution, and now takes 720p video.
Full 720p HD video, they call it.
They do.
Now, see, I have a problem with the term full 720p HD because HD is 1920 by 1080, not 720.
Right. So they shouldn't call it full and 720.
I wouldn't call it full HD. I think it's a little bit misleading to the public.
But now you can shoot 720p HD video and edit it right there in the iPhone. You can edit it. You can add titles. You can do cross dissolves.
Yeah.
Add themes.
We're both editors, so that's a pretty cool thing, and it really is an amazing thing to bring that sort of functionality into a small phone like that. Indeed. That is pretty cool. I got to give them that.
Now, of course, they also have added another camera on the front, the part that faces you. Not 5 megapixels. It's just a VGA camera, but this now enables their new sort of iChat video chat service, which they call Face View. And Face View allows you to call anyone else who has an iPhone 4 and have a face-to-face conversation.
As long as you're on Wi-Fi for now, it'll come out on 3G later, I'm sure.
Yes, a limitation of this is that right now it's only when you're on a Wi-Fi network. So here at the hotel, we are on a Wi-Fi network. My wife is at home on a Wi-Fi network. She can pick up her phone, I can pick up mine. We can have that video conversation right here.
One of the things I thought was interesting was some of the spokespeople from Apple have come out and said how amazing it is, how personal it is, how you can look in the eyes of the person whom you're talking to. And to me, that's Skype. I mean, Skype has been around for years.
It'll be very interesting to see if they allow Skype to use that front-facing camera to make video calls through Skype.
Right, and what we were discussing earlier was Ben said, well, yeah, Skype's been around, but not on a phone. And
not on a phone.
That is one of the things that the Apple people were talking about was the businessman on the phone in the hotel at night. And
you gotta love that video, right? And he's watching his kids who are graduating from kindergarten or something.
That is pretty cool. And the good thing about the LED flash unit that's on the back of the camera is that when you're in video mode, it can also be used as a video light, which is important for low light information.
Very cool, indeed.
Places. Yeah.
And then another new feature, getting down to the last couple here, we want to wrap things up, is that there's a gyro built in. Now, before, the phone had a GPS, a compass, and an accelerometer. So that meant that when you started turning, it kind of knew when you were turning through the accelerometer, and it would, it would turn the image with you or turn the graphic. Now there's a gyro built in, so you now have 6-way precision. So if you want to, manipulate an object in real space, do you want to do that with your phone? I don't know.
Well, they're saying that the big feature of the gyro is just going to make it a lot easier when you're navigating on streets that you're unfamiliar with, or neighborhoods that you're.
Because it's going to know when you're turning.
Right.
Yeah.
So with the enhanced gyro, I thought gyros had to have like spinning discs that went around real fast or something.
Yeah,
Does it have discs inside?
I don't know what's inside. I've heard of a thing called a piezo gyro, which vibrates instead of spins. So I don't know for sure, but that's that. Anyway, the final feature, which is quite frankly the biggest feature for me, is 40% more battery life. So a huge problem, and I don't think it's just with the iPhone, I think your phone has it, my phone has it, is I'm lucky if I can get through a day. I have to keep it plugged in the car and plugged in the office because the way I use my phone, it runs down in a day. I was listening to the keynote. They said the biggest component now in this iPhone is the battery. 40% more battery life.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're using your phone on Wi-Fi a lot, which if you have sketchy 3G service, which some of the AT&T folks have complained about.
I don't know what you're talking about. What could you possibly be talking about?
If you have sketchy 3G service, you're going to run your Wi-Fi a lot, and of course we know that eats batteries, especially on the G1. I don't even bother having the Wi-Fi on because it just eats the battery.
If you turn the Wi-Fi on, what do you get? A day? Half a day?
Honestly, I don't know. I've never had it on for the day.
Well, what do you get the way you run it normal?
Because the 3G works so well.
Oh, yes.
On T-Mobile.
T-Mobile, and in the 12 places you can actually pick up T-Mobile. It's wonderful.
I get probably about a day, but the weird thing is about a phone with too long a battery life is you let it go for a day or 2 days. Now they have 300 hours of standby time on the new iPhone, so it may not be an issue. But for me, it was like when I first got my G1 and it lasted a long time, I was never sure when to charge it because if you let it go like a day and maybe then a day and a half or 2 days, then you forget to charge it.
Right, you really don't want to. If it's a day and a half, you're in trouble. trouble because it's less than 2 days, but
Right.
more than a day.
Exactly.
So what do you do? It's so confusing.
But the good thing is 40% bigger, longer battery life. I think they said you could play video for 10 hours.
Yeah, 7 hours with the
ridiculous
talk
power.
time. So
So I
stuff.
think that I may.
I feel a wrap up coming.
Well,
Sorry.
this may convince me to at least try one.
Really?
I might try yours when you get it.
Yeah, well, that's what you will love to do, I know, is to take my stuff and use it. But I will definitely be getting one. I'll definitely upgrade. Apple actually has reduced now by 6 months the amount of time it takes for you to be eligible for an upgrade. So folks that weren't eligible until Christmas time can actually go out now and get the discount on the new phone. $199 for this phone.
See, that's smart. They've done a lot of proprietary things to keep you locked into the network and into the technology, but I think it's good
It's all
of them
part
to,
of the master evil plan.
That's right.
I know.
It's good of them to make it easier for people to try the technology, because I think really it is true. Once you try anything Apple, it really does sell you.
So there you have it, a wrap up of all the new features of the iPhone 4, or all the good ones that I like anyway.
I'm gonna miss you, G1.
Yeah, and you've got some new ones coming out, like the Sprint Evo, and if you like Android phones. So there's some other good phones out there, non-Apple, but I will be getting a G4, and when it comes out on the 24th, come back here for the review. But in the meantime, let us know what you think. Did you think it had everything you wanted? Were you impressed with everything that came out on the phone? Let us know at www.neo-fight.tv. Or you can go to our Facebook page and sign up to win some of the stuff we review. That's facebook.com/neophyte. And if you happen to have an extra 30 seconds,
take a look at this.
if you need to make recordings of your computer screen, there's no better tool than Camtasia from TechSmith. In fact, you're watching a screen recording of this video right now.
Camtasia can record your screen, your webcam, and high-quality audio at the same time. It's perfect for training, presentations, podcasts, or any time you need to show what's going on your computer.
Camtasia is easy to use, but it's also extremely powerful. You can turn your screen recordings into high-quality polished video in no time and share them with the world.
And Camtasia is available for the Mac and PCs. If you need to make screen recordings to educate, train, or sell, there's no better tool than Camtasia from TechSmith.